Responsibility to the saviors. Sometimes in life, we encounter huge monsters, huge demons that are scary, and we don't know how to deal with them. But once we start taking responsibility for parts of our cognition that we previously weren't taking responsibility for, once we start changing our perspective and seeing that it's all in our minds, we'll see that these demons really aren't demons at all. They're very manageable problems. I'm going to explain how this process occurs. So sometimes we feel like we're drowning. We feel like life is too big for us, and we need something to come and save us. And so when we look to our cognition, what parts of our cognition are going to come and rescue us from these problems, from these issues we have in life, from our drowning? And so because of the story we tell ourselves, we're going to use the savior. A savior is going to come and save us, right? That's who's going to come save us. That's the part of our cognition that's going to help us. And everything in our cognition that can't help us, that can't save us, we're going to say, that's not us. I'm the savior. We want to tell ourselves the story that we're the savior. We're the hero of the story. We're not just this nobody that deals with these things that we're not responsible to deal with. It's not our responsibility. And really, if you see a child drowning and you run to save the child, and let's say there's a lifeguard there and you're both there and only one of you can save the child, well, you'll give responsibility to the lifeguard because that's his job, right? And that's how it works in our cognition. When two parts of our cognition go to solve a problem and there's a lifeguard there, well, we'll just say, here, you deal with it. I mean, it's your job, not mine. If you weren't here, maybe I would have to deal with it, but no. And so that's how we give responsibility more to what we identify with as a savior in our cognition. And that's how we tell the story to ourselves that we are the savior. That's us. That's the part of our cognition that we identify with as us, the one that's going to go and save the world. We are the hero of the story. We're going to save the world. So here we have two tools. We have a hammer and we have a hug. Okay, well, what are we going to do with these two tools? Oh, look, there's a nail. What are we going to use on the nail? Why don't we hug the nail? That's not going to work. Okay, let's use the hammer. Oh, that works. Yep, the world is full of nails. So once we start using the hammer to solve all of these nail problems, we'll start identifying the hammer as our savior. That's us. We're the hammer. We're not the hug. I'm responsible to hit these nails in the wall. Great. But what happens when it's not a nail anymore? What happens when you got a baby? All right, well, the savior is me. I'm going to save the world with my hammer. So let's just use the hammer on the baby. Sure, give it a shot. You ran into a bit of trouble, didn't you? Well, that only happened because you feel responsible to use your saviors. That only happened because you identified the hammer as your savior, as your responsibility. And you said, I'm not responsible to give hugs to babies. I'm responsible to use hammers. So not everything in the world is going to be a child drowning. So easy to see. Oh, this is really clear. We've got to use this lifeguard. Because sometimes the lifeguard, you need to use him. You need to use the part in your cognition that's designated to save you from this specific situation. But not everything is this. Sometimes there's garbage. Sometimes there's things that you don't feel responsible to do. And why don't you feel responsible? Well, no, I'm the savior. I'm the savior of the story. I'm this lifeguard. I got to save the kids that are drowning. I'm not here to clean garbage. Hey, look, I got a hammer. I got to hit nails. That's my job. I got to save the world. That's my story. Well, because you're not giving responsibility to do the garbage, well, the garbage is not going to be done. Here, let's let that guy do it, right? I'm not responsible. He's responsible. Let's give responsibility to others. And what happens when you do this in our cognition? Well, the garbage multiplies. It builds up. And it builds up even more. I'm not responsible for it. But in the end, who's causing the garbage to build up? Because you're not taking responsibility for it, it's building up. Here, even more. Until it becomes a huge demon, a huge monster. And so what happens when you have this huge monster? Well, you become a victim. I'm a victim. Look, it wasn't my responsibility. Look at this huge monster in my life. It wasn't my job. It came at me. It happened to me, right? That's what we tell ourselves. It happened to me. I didn't, but really it was us. We didn't take responsibility for the garbage. It's our job, but no, we're going to play the victim here. But what happens is if you actually take responsibility for the garbage, take responsibility for the parts of your cognition that you identify as not you, start identifying them as you, saying, yeah, I should have taken care of this garbage. This was my responsibility. Well, that's when you'll succeed. That's when you'll be praised. And if you don't do that, so someone else is going to take care of the garbage. Well, they're the one that's going to be praised. And when you do, you'll see that the problem isn't really a problem. It's really manageable. It's really nothing. It's just a matter of our perspective. So in the end, all of our cognition is one. We have one cognition, a single cognition. It's all us. And once we start taking responsibility for all of it and start doing all of it, that's when the monsters won't look like monsters anymore. That's when we'll start attaining balance in our cognition. Good luck, everyone. Have a good one.